But we've had training camp, we've had off season, and this is a time I would say for casuals who haven't been exposed to rookies to start seeing some of these guys get hyped up. And one of these rookies that's been dominating in camp is Emeka Egbuka. And having a nice camp right now, Baker Mayfield has been singing his praises all offseason, saying he looks like a polished veteran, heading into a loaded Buccaneers receiver room. But Chris Godwin, we've got mixed reviews on him. We don't know if he's going to be ready for week one. There's a chance he starts on PUP. There's a chance he's slow for this entire year. Mike Evans, another year older. And you also got Jalen McMillan, who came on late towards the end of last season, but obviously is probably fourth in the pecking order now that Egbuka is here. His draft stock has been affected in a major way, now being pushed into wide receiver 3 range, a high-end wide receiver 3 range. Where are you when it comes to Emeka Egbuka? Are you giving him the upside to be a top 15, 20 guy? Are you thinking he's being pushed up? Like, talk to me about your thoughts on Emeka Egbuka with his camp rise right now.
Yeah, I do think Emeka Egbuka is just a good player. Now, I think he's more fitted to be a wide receiver 2 in an offense than a wide receiver 1. But I do think that's kind of where he's at right now. Like, he doesn't need to be the wide receiver 1 because you have Mike Evans there who will operate as the 1, especially because we don't know what's going on with Chris Godwin right now. I don't know if he's going to be ready to start the year in PUP. We have no idea.
That's the hardest part.
Yeah, like Godwin's definitely the one that's the hardest part. But also, I was not very big on Godwin heading into the season just because coming off a significant lower body injury, I don't think he's probably going to be himself for at least like half the season. And so you're kind of just waiting for half the season for this guy to maybe get back to who he was last year. But then you also have this rookie wide receiver who's coming in here. The biggest problem is just who ends up playing in the slot with these two guys, because I don't know who's going to be the full-time slot. But then also, like, there's just so many moving parts because then you have a new OC here. So, like, how's this offense going to look? Is it going to be similar to what it was last year? Like, there's just so many moving parts here. Now, that's not to say that I don't like Emeka Egbuka. I think he's fine. He is getting pushed up draft boards. And I just had a draft. Let me pull it up because I just had a draft, like a real draft.
Yeah.
Let me see. I forget where he ended up going.
I mean, he's going pretty high right now. Like, you got to think.
6th round.
6th round is very high for a rookie that's coming in, you know?
Yeah. But, and I'll say this. This is kind of the range that you see a lot of these guys, like the rookies. Last year, Lai McConkey, Brian Robinson Jr. were kind of going in this range. Not saying Emeka Egbuka is going to be these guys, but this is where
Brian Thomas
Johnston went, and like Zay Flowers went in this range. So like this is where the sweet spot of these rookie wide receivers are: the first round, the late first round rookie wide receivers. So, and I might be wrong with this. This might be a bad take, but I'm willing to make this take. I just rather go with Matthew Golden personally. And the reason why I go with Matthew Golden, I just think if he ends up being a good player, which we don't know with either one of these guys, they're rookies, right? We have no idea. Time will tell if they're good players. But if Matthew Golden is a good player, I just see a better path to being a wide receiver 1, potentially in fantasy football, than Emeka Egbuka, just because his target competition, yes, Godwin may not be there early on in the season, but he's going to be there at some point. And that's the biggest thing. And I don't like Godwin a whole lot this season, but he's really fallen in drafts right now. And at some point, Godwin will probably start to get healthier and start to feel himself, especially later in the season. So I like Egbuka, but I just rather go with like Matthew Golden, who I just view as higher upside, maybe a lower floor, but I'd rather just take the shot on that upside play for where they're both currently going.
It's tough because you think of Egbuka and you see the rave reviews and you see the talent and obviously the size. Like, he's got that prototypical size when it comes to receiver. The fact that he can move all over the field and you get excited for it, especially with Godwin out. But I think one thing we have to account for as fantasy fans is sometimes everybody knowing the same news isn't helpful for you in your draft.
Yeah.
Like, now he's going at a range where there's other talented receivers that are going well after him right now that are established and we know their roles and they've proven themselves in the league. You got Chris Godwin now who, like you talked about, probably at worst case scenario is probably out 4 to 6 weeks. Best case scenario, he's back week one. So now does Egbuka even see time on the field consistently with Jalen McMillan there? And if he is a weapon, there's also other weapons in this passing game. You got K. Dodden, you got Mike Evans, you got Bucky Irving, who a lot of people are excited about to take a bigger role. So unless Baker's throwing like 5,500 yards this year, which, I mean, shit, Baker could do that. Unless he's doing that, how many receivers are going to be top 25 for this team? Yeah. How many? It's just, I love when we get excited about players. It's just sometimes I think the hype gets to them. Now, I will say this. I think if Chris Godwin is out 4 to 6 weeks, or it does take him a while to get up to full speed, Egbuka he's gonna smash his ADP. But I think that's the risk you're carrying if you draft him early. Whereas you can find that same risk. You talked about it with the Matthew Golden, with some of these other players that are going a little bit further down. Keon Coleman, you can go get Keon Coleman right now for free, and he's probably in a better situation than even Emeka Egbuka is right now as the wide receiver one for the Bills. So I think that there's better risk you can take later on at a younger position if you're looking for upside, instead of having to reach for that in round 6. That's wild to me.
Yeah, I think it's gotten a little bit. I mean, I understand, because a lot of times you see these rookie wide receivers end up doing pretty well for where he's currently being drafted, but like, he's going over some other guys that I really like. And so in this draft, I got Chris Godwin in the 10th round.
Sheesh.
That's where Chris Godwin's kind of falling to. So, and I'll put him on my IR. Maybe he's not himself, but like, Emeka Egbuka in the 6th round now, Chris Godwin in the 10th. I think I'd rather take Chris Godwin in the 10th round.
If you're taking him as a top 30 receiver, just know there's probably a good 40 to 40. Like Michael Pittman, I know I keep preaching about Michael Pittman, but like Michael Pittman's wide receiver 45 and goes well after Egbuka now.
I think, and now I think the situations are different. Don't get me wrong. But Josh Downs, I think the best case scenario for Emeka Egbuka is he's kind of Joshua Downs. And the biggest problem with Joshua Downs, he doesn't play in 2 wide receiver sets. That could be Emeka Egbuka this year, where he's just not playing the 2 wide receiver sets when Godwin's healthy, and now it's limiting his upside, and you're drafting him in 6 rounds. So like, and then Josh Downs goes later than him. He's going like a full round later than he is right now. So at least in this draft, even a guy like Jordan Addison went at the 7-11.
Yeah. I mean, even with the suspension, he's only 3 games.
So it's like one of those situations that I don't know. I like Emeka Egbuka. I do think he's kind of getting pushed up the board a little bit too much. Maybe he ends up out producing kind of where he's going, but I think on a per game basis, especially when Godwin's back, he'll probably end up finishing lower than where he's currently going. And that's the time of the year that you want him to be ascending, and he may not be ascending because Godwin's back.
Well, and you think about it too, like if you like Egbuka so much, why not just get Jaden Higgins, prototypical big body receiver in a good offense tied to a good quarterback? He's going to be the number 2 receiver, you would like to think, on this Houston offense that will use their young guys. Like we saw how Tank Dell was utilized. Xavier Hutchinson had a role last year at times. Like he'll throw to whoever's open, and Higgins is a big body receiver. It looks like he's gaining the trust this offseason. So for me, that's where I'm at. I'm like, if you like names so much, you like rookies, or you want upside, you don't always have to reach for that upside. Sometimes there's value later on in names that if they're not well-known names, it actually benefits you a little bit more. So I don't know. It's a good conversation. Let us know what you guys think about the comments about Emeka Egbuka.